Any message, sir? Message?
Security Management Convention.
Yes, sir.
Very good lecture.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations to all of us for a very successful 17th Security Management International Convention.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations to Psis for the 17th Security Management International Convention. Very conducive convention area.
It is indeed a golden opportunity for each one of us to enrich and enlighten ourselves. Kaya huwag po kayong mahihiya na kausapin ang mga kasama niyo pong delegates dito sa ating convention. Your goal is to network and learn. The first topic we have for this morning, and we are just so lucky kasi dalawa po ang magsispeak for the first talk. So I hope we are all ready and in the attitude of learning.
Right, so we have two speakers for our first session this morning. It is my honor since I'll be introducing my bosses. So sa mga gusto kong magsumbong, nandiyan po sila. Right, Dr. Santos is an associate professor with a degree in Doctor of Philosophy in Business Administration from De La Salle University, Las Marinas, where she was recognized with high distinction. In 2015 and 2017, she was awarded as a Certified Business Intelligence Analyst. And currently, she is the editor-in-chief of the Management, Technology Research and Innovation Exchange, or Matrix, Journal of Management. She is a member of the International Organization of Educators and Researchers, Incorporated, and the Philippine Association of Researchers and Statistical Software Users. She is also a certified Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt. She now serves as a Dean of the School of Professional Advancement in Continuing Education. The unit houses the De La Salle Graduate School and the Institute for Professional Advancement and Continuing Education. She advocates teaching minds, touching hearts, and transforming lives through education, certifications, and training. Our second speaker, my boss as well, is Dr. Erickson Martinez. He is an associate professor of the De La Salle Lipas College of Business, Economics, Accountancy, and Management. He teaches strategic human resource management, organizational development, organizational behavior, business ethics, business psychology, and research writing at the De La Salle Lipas graduate and undergraduate programs. He has been engaged with the De La Salle Lipas Graduate School since 2001. He received his BS degree in psychology from Colegio de San Juan de Letran, Manila, Master's in Management major in Human Resources, and finished his PhD in Management at Colegio de San Juan de Letran, Calamba. He continues to serve De La Salle Lipas both as an educator and administrator for more than 2 decades. He had been in various administrative positions as Director of Student Affairs, Director of Human Resources, Chief Admin Officer, and Executive Assistant to the President, former President of the Philippine Association of Graduate School Education for Region 4A, and the former Chancellor of the De La Salle Lipas from 2021 to 2024. Please help me in welcoming Dr. Lani Santos and Dr. Erickson Martinez.
Thank you for having me. And thank you, Sir Baste, for the kind introduction. I am actually amazed seeing very beautiful ladies and gorgeous, handsome gentlemen in front of me. I was not advised that I'll be starstruck for this morning. But where do we base our policies? We can think of a lot, but I would like to believe that it will be based on data. Data policy making is very important in making informed decisions. Very much firm that we are always looking for evidence. Evidence is very important since we don't make our decisions based on assumptions or biases. Am I right? Yes. Another importance is this will lead to improve efficiency. So data can help us assess our policies that we are thinking will be beneficial to our society. And of course, very important is the concept of accountability. We in the security field are very transparent and very accountable for all the policies that we are making. We also have different key data sources. What are these? The first one would be government data. So we are very much linked to our government. What are the common government agencies that provide data? So one would be the Philippine Statistics Authority. One could be the World Bank data, and a lot more. One sources of data that we can use in order to gather a number of data would be through the use of surveys and polls. So I'm not sure if we are also in the field of research, but that is my line, research. So we are using survey instruments, we are using interviews, we are using polls to gather the sentiments of the people. Another one which is usually used today is the use of social media data. Anyone here who has no social media account? So I believe all of us would have. Maybe not one, we can have more than one, since that is our way of sharing a part of ourselves to our community. And with that, we get the sentiment of the people. With that, we are helped in creating a policy that is beneficial for them. We get to know what they feel, and we get to adjust what we think we have to use for our policy. Now, very important, since we know the sources of data, is how do we collect and organize our data? So for data collection, this will involve gathering from various sources. So previously we have identified a lot of sources. So that could be the primary data. So that's through the use of survey instrument, through interview, through focus group discussions. But we can also use government data so that we pertain to second. That is my challenge to all of you inside this room, that we have a better way of implementing. Will the policy benefit the different segments of the population or only a selected group? Because if that's the case, we need to think again. After getting this feedback, we have to refine our policy. And that can only be done if we're able to monitor. Monitoring and control are critical areas of management. It's not enough that you plan. It's not enough that you implement. You have to monitor and you have to control. If what you did went wrong, there is a lot of things that may happen for data-driven policy. But what is very important is that data-driven policy making is becoming an essential role in our world today. We need policy that will help all of us. And I think that everyone in this room also would like that. Now, data-driven policy is very important to human resources. As we all know, human resource is the most important resource of an organization. You, everyone in this room, are the most important resources of an organization. And with that, I would like to invite my colleague, Dr. Eric, to discuss data-driven policy in human resource management. Thank you.
Response by Dr. Lan. The most important resource of an organization are its manpower, or human resources. So, but we're not here to make everyone HR manager. It's very important that you understand that that every managers are HR managers because we handle people. So, part of our presentation is after making policies, what kind of decision we'll make. Decision making or data-driven decision making is very important. We need data. We need our data to ensure that our decision just be documented in place on our cabinet. But we need to leverage on this data to ensure that decisions that we make, particularly in managing our human resources, will be very important. Data-driven approach can optimize staffing, predict talent needs, and improve employee engagement, as we'll be showing as our presentation continues. So, data analysis can identify potential security risks related to our employees. Basically, problem within the organizations comes from employees. So, we can identify past incidents or behavioral patterns of our employees and allow for proactive mitigation measures. So, these are not just basically incident reports. These are data that we can use when we make decisions, data-driven or data-driven decision making based on what we have. Also, it optimizes resource allocation, particularly in identifying trainings. Because basically, when we talk about trainings, there are cost implications. So what kinds of training do we want our employees to have? Normally, when we talk about trainings, we have template training. For this year, there will be training a particular area, particular how many employees we need on a yearly basis based on employee turnover. You can also spot performance patterns. It's also helpful in improving workforce planning. Okay? In terms of audit, how many people do we really need? let's put it in an actual situation in terms of recruitment selection or talent acquisition. In candidate sourcing, we need to identify the best sources of talent and predict the success of the different recruitment channels. Now, we have a lot because social media is widely available. So we can use social media, we use LinkedIn, we can use trabajo.net, for example, to identify possible employees or possible, we can use those data to make sure that our decision making of accepting or hiring or engaging a possible applicant and making sure that that applicant could be a good fit for our organization. In terms of performance and development, utilize employees' performance, data-driven training programs leads to a 10% increase in the incident resolution. So, at our presentation here, by the way, we're part of campaigning diploma programs, which maybe you might be interested on. These are the list. Okay, so we can have it flashed later then as one. Another, we have several specialization. Sorry for, I don't think you could read it for being heard. But, these are some certification programs that we have. If you're interested, maybe these courses could help you and help your people to be better in ensuring that their work is done thoroughly. So with this, I would like to thank everyone for listening. If you have questions, feel free to ask. We'll be here the whole morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Erickson Martinez. Please stay on stage, and we are also going to invite Dr. Lani Santos to share the center stage with us. For your invaluable contribution as a resource speaker, sharing your expertise and insights during the 17th Security Management International Convention with the theme of Contemporary Security Management Synergy of Hardware, Software, and Human Technical Expertise, held on October 22, 2024 at the Grand Volume of Okada, Manila, Paranaque City, given this 22nd day of October in the year of the Lord. Undersigned Dr. Eduardo M. Henshaw, CPP, CFP, CSP. Director Nelson Silva, our National President, our National VP and Convention Chairman, Director Sebastian Huache. And also, we would love to award another plaque of recognition to Dr. Erickson E. Martinez for his invaluable contribution as a keynote speaker, sharing your expertise and insight during the 7th Security Management International Convention. Held on October 22, 2024 at the Grand Volume of Okada, Manila, Paranaque City. Your dedication, sir, and commitment to enhancing knowledge and fostering meaningful discussions were instrumental in the event's success. Given this 22nd day of October in the year of our Lord, 2024. Again, undersigned by Chairman Emeritus Dr. Eduardo M. Henshaw, National President Director Nelson Silva, and National VP and Convention Chairman Director Sebastian M. Huache. Marami pong salamat! Nakakaman po natin Doc Lani and Doc Erickson. So please accept our plaque of recognition for the wisdom, the effort, and your presence today. Tama nga naman, no? These policies could enhance our assessment, and we need these policies to help us be guided, no? To ensure that we are having progress when it comes to security management. So marami pong salamat. Alright, thank you so much to Emergency Management. Again, our National Vice President and Convention Chairman, back on stage, Director Sebastian M. Huache, CSE. Hi, sir.
Okay, it's me again. Really had to force everyone to allow me to introduce our next speaker. He is one of my teachers. He's a very humble man actually. Ayaw niya magbigay ng profile kaya nag-research na lang ako. Dr. Ted Esguerra is the Expedition and Wilderness Emergency Medical Services Physician of the Philippine Mount Everest Expedition Team and the voyage of the Balangay. He is a flight surgeon and the officer in charge of the Elite Medical Rescue Team, the Specialized Medical Assistance Response Team, or SMART, of the Philippine Coast Guard. He is trained on urban and wilderness rescue, aviation medicine, expedition medicine for tropical and alpine mountain operations, tactical medicine, disaster medicine, aquatic dive medicine, and high altitude medicine. He is a certified instructor of the American Heart Association for the basic life support, advanced cardiovascular support, and pediatric advanced life support. Certified instructor of the American Safety and Health Institute, or ASHI, for wilderness first response upgrade courses. The wilderness doctor of the North Face International Marathon Events, the medical control for emergency medical services, composite teams for the Guinness World Record Marathon for the Pasig River. Head of the composite EMS team of the Quezon City International Marathon. Medical control of the first Asian 100-kilometer mountain marathon in Benguet, and overall medical control of the CAMSWORD International Ironman 2011. He's a member of the Manila Sheepdog, Aerospace Medical Association, Aerospace Medical Association of the Philippines, International Disaster Response Network, International Society of Mountain Medicine, International Urban Search and Rescue Facilitation Organization, National Association for Search and Rescue, National Association of Emergency Medicine, Medical Services Physicians, National Association of Emergency Medical Technicians, Wilderness Medical Society, and the World Association of Disaster and Emergency Medicine. Mga kapatid, please help me welcome our speaker for today, Dr. Gefredo Ted Mount Everest P. Esquerra.
Good morning, everyone. I'm really not comfortable being introduced with that kind of, I want to be known as a husband, father, and humanitarian worker. He did a wonderful research, but that was an old, I think perhaps, when I was still in the Philippine Coast Guard. I've been doing marathon lectures right now since after my stint last week with the United Nations.
First talent, very keen on situation awareness. Okay, here, our country is challenged by lots of hazards, and we are number one in the whole world for the past 3 years. Oy, it's not only a safety problem, but a security issue. Okay? But I would like to dedicate my presentation to the 5 heroes of Bulacan who perished during rescue operations. They were my students. Engineering Brigade medic who was my student who died in the holy grounds of Marawi, and Wendell Candano who died in the holy grounds of Mamasapan. So I want to dedicate this lecture to those students of mine who gave their all. Well, how do we define emergency management? It's a managerial function. It means to say it's a position, although it is not yet formalized in this country. We only have even 2 certified emergency managers, only 2 in the whole Philippines right now, certified in the US. And it talks about understanding hazards, looking at those who are exposed, looking at those who are vulnerable, and teaching how we can capacitate ourselves. So part of the job of security manager is once there's emergency, you can not really migrate, but you can, like transformers, transform into an emergency manager. Now this usually goes around in the 4 thematic areas which we use in our disaster management in this country. We look at preparedness, response, recovery and rehabilitation and recovery, and prevention. We invest so much. If you're an emergency manager, you invest so much. Vice President of the US before, he said, New technology, new habit. Very good. New technology, old habit, not very good. Old technology, new habit, not good. Now, whether we like it or not, our society is doing fast pace. After the surges of COVID, lots of things, they change. Wow, we have AI. You look at Elon Musk, even planning to go to Mars. He had made these very good, wonderful robots which are interactive already. That's how we are changing right now, people. And the enemy of humanity, like the terrorists, are so high tech. They use drones. They even use AI. We cannot even track them. They can even steal your identity. That's how things are moving fast. So we have to be progressive in addressing to the quick movement of the times. Risk-driven, meaning whether you like it or not, we have to have a taste of it. There is quite two schools of thought in looking at risk. There's a good statement because sometimes people are so involved in technology. And when they're looking at things, they're looking at things from the sky. I love it. But you have to remember, even if you have the skies, and you can look what's happening down there. In times of war, and this is operations in Benguet during the last night. So I was leading BFP there. In collaboration, it must be, you must look at the facts and the norms of the community because you don't impose yourself. Sometimes we tend to impose ourselves like, oh, I have the best learning. I'll give you one. In Central Africa, at age 18, the women, their clitoris is cut, like a circumcision. In the position of the United Nations, they said, aha, that's violation of women's rights. But if you look at the community, they said, no, it's okay, it's our practice. So, who is right and who is wrong then? Now, you have to look at it because there are things in life we cannot trespass. Those are the grilling, and it existed for centuries already. So I don't want to, superimpose myself that I carry the best ideation, or learning. Right now, we are rigged with lots of standards. One of the dilemma in this country is we are highly Americanized, including me. But when there are standards coming from Europe, that when I teach, people start to, do deep breathing. What is that? Why is that applicable? Okay. I'll make a short. I don't care whether you follow the Singaporean standards, Japanese standards, Taiwanese standards, European standards, US standards. My position is it hazard focused? Does it address to the hazard that I'm facing? Is it site specific? Does it apply to the site of my evolution? Is it time bound? And lastly, is it culturally amenable? For example, in basic life support, perhaps most of you know it. If there's an unconscious person there, you will check for responsiveness. Hey, are you okay? And then the patient is unconscious. The first thing you will do, because it's in the checklist, patient is unresponsive, call emergency response, get an AD. Before it's called activate EMS and get an AD. The word is EMS. EMS. Do you think the whole population understand EMS? Emergency Medical Services, that's EMS. We don't have EMS law in this country. Number two, do we have AED? Why do you ask for AED? There's no cure if there's AED. That's one thing. So we recalibrated it. Good to know that they changed it into get emergency response. That's more realistic. But on my end, this is what I do. Sir, you in blue, while I'm checking the patient, please to the summit and went down. 2007, 2006, first Filipinos, Philippines reached Everest. The whole world saw we are not only people from Boracay, but we can hit the highest mountain in the world. But we didn't stop there. From the north, We went up, we went down to the south, it's called Traverse. And it became a world record, people. World record. Because no woman has traversed Everest. No woman has traversed Everest. And that time it was the first traverse by women. And it became a world record. How did we do that? We invested so much in safety, security, and whatever. So that, I mean, people will get sick, of course. Of all sports, that's the craziest sports. You are there 3 months with minus 40 degrees. Sometimes I was having ideation. If I can find out who invented this sport, I'm gonna bury him under my toilet. You know, lots of fancy things in, in sports. That someone is invented this kind of crazy. 3 months we were there, cold, and all the things that I hear are people dead and dying. So our margin of safety and security must be very, very wide, deep, and high. And we did that. We did a world record, and up to this date, October 22, nobody has yet surpassed the record of our women. And nobody died in my watch because of proper management. So today, don't you ever tell me that we can do it. But before that, can I have your right hand raised and spread the fingers? Those are 5 fingers. The first finger like this, the first finger like this, talks about foresight. As security manager, you have to have foresight. You don't have foresight, no amount of statistics. Everything must just in front of our foresight. Number 2, create anti-fragility or a robust, resilient culture. Or else, we will not live long. Society will not live. Number 3, always was just checking if we can do it. You know, when we jump, before we jump out of the airplane to parachute, we shout because, "Oy, huya!" and we jump. So the battle cry is sometimes huya. Oh, Colonel Lebria knows the huya. It's a Navy shout. Okay? So depending, others, awu, awu, whatever shout. But our shout today is kaya. But before we shout kaya, the coin word is PSIS. Ready? PSIS! No, we are not yet reunited. Nauna, nahuli. What kind of managers we are? We cannot practice collaboration in the very simple atmosphere. Last, let's tell the Congress, the Senate, the Malacanang, and the whole country that we are collaborating to make this community safe through PSIS. Thank you very much. Good day.
Yes. Let me invite once again our board of directors to join me here on stage for our award for his invaluable contribution as a resource speaker, sharing his expertise and insights during the 17th Security Management International Convention with the theme of contemporary security management, synergy of hardware, software, and human technical expertise, held on October 22, 2024 at the Grand Ballroom of Okada, Manila, Parañaque City. Your dedication and commitment to enhancing knowledge and fostering meaningful discussions were instrumental to the event's success. Given this 22nd day of October in the year of our Lord, 2024, undersigned by Chairman Emeritus Dr. Eduardo M. Fulgencio, PhD, CPP, CFE, CSP, National President Director Nilson Silva, PhD, MSM, CSI, CSP, National Vice President and Convention Chairman Director Sebastian Poache, PhD, CPP, MSM, CSI, CSP. Marami pong salamat, Doc Ted Esguerra. He's actually the Expedition and Wilderness Emergency Medical Services Physician of the Philippine Mount Everest Expedition Team. Grabe, we get to meet him in person. Salamat po for inspiring all of us this morning. Salamat! Nasigabong palakpakan, ladies and gents. Thank you so much.
Send our next speaker, no other than Commander Edison L. Nebrija, Philippine Navy, retired. He has a distinguished background, having earned his bachelor's degree in military science from the Philippine Military Academy in 1991, followed by master's degree in national security administration from the National Defense College of the Philippines in year 2022. Presently, he serves as the head of the Training Unit, Traffic Education Division of Metro Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA. Rising through the ranks from the job order to the Traffic Operations Center 4. He held significant roles within the MMDA to include overseeing Task Force Special Operation, EDSA Special Traffic and Transport Zone, and new Task Force Special Operation and Anti-Colorum Unit. With 2 decades of service in the Philippine Navy, Commander Nebrija transitioned from shipboard duty to naval aviation, commanding prestigious squadrons such as the MH-40 Naval Air Squadron and serving as the inaugural commander of Naval Aviation Training Squadron. Before retiring as a Navy commander in 2007, likewise as a pioneering faculty member of Maritime Academy of Asia and the Pacific, or MAAP. He contributed significantly to character development, drafting essential midships manual like the Midshipman Handbook and the Honor System. Later, in second stint at MAAP in 2004, he was designated as the acting administrator overseeing the daily administration and operation of the Academy. His leadership in the MMDA, notably leading the Task Force Special Operation, garnered widespread media coverage. His no-nonsense clearing operation apprehension gained popularity not only in Metro Manila but nationwide. Sa hindi po nakakilala, ay isa rin pong magaling talagang piloto, si Sir Edison Nebrija. So, hayaan niyo po na samahan niyo po kung salubungin siya ng masigabong palakpakan.
Thank you, Director Alcantara, for the gracious introduction. I think the introduction to me is much longer than my lecture itself. But anyway, I'm so glad that I was able to catch up with the lecture of Dr. Ted Sierra, one of my idols. He's been really, I'll be talking about the synergy between the public and private sectors in security development. I think what you saw a while ago in his lecture is the best example in the synergy in action of the public and private sectors. I'm just glad and I'd like to thank PSIS for having me today to speak about this topic. And I've seen so many friends already when I came in, and I have my Navy mate, let me just mention, Admiral Chappie Reyes. Lalo tuloy akong kinabahan nung nakita ko siya. Para kung he's my one of my instructors during the Naval Command and Staff course. So, on security management. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share my insights on the topic that's not only relevant, but increasingly critical. The synergy between the public and private sectors in security development. When we talk about security, we often think of government agencies, law enforcement, and military. These are the traditional protectors of our society. But what we tend to overlook is the crucial role that the private sector plays in keeping us safe. From corporate cybersecurity to private security firms, the private sector has become an integral part of our national security fiber. Today, I'd like to explore how these two sectors, public and private, can work together, not just to improve their own operations, but to create a stronger, more resilient environment for all. Let's start by looking at the current security landscape. The threats we face today are more complex than ever before. We're dealing with global terrorism, extremist groups that don't respect borders. We've seen this lately in Israel, Gaza, Lebanon, Iran. According to the Global Terrorism Index, in the past decade, there have been over 13,000 terrorist incidents worldwide, with some of these incidents taking place right here in our country. Then, of course, there's this cybersecurity issue. With digital transformation, cyber attacks have become more. Governments are responsible for creating laws and policies that protect its citizens. The Anti-Terrorism Act, cybersecurity laws, and disaster risk reduction policies all play vital part in ensuring public safety. For example, during major events like the ASEAN Minister Summit, the SEA Games, and other international summits, you'll often see public agencies working with private businesses to secure the venue, ensure public safety, and manage, yes, traffic flow. This is a clear example of a synergy in action. In my experience at the Metro Manila Development Authority, we've used government infrastructures like command centers and CCTV networks to monitor potential threats and coordinate to stay ahead of risks, especially in areas like counterterrorism, national defense, and the prevailing cyber threat data. Government agencies such as the Department of Information and Communications Technology or of Cyber Defense. Companies detect intrusion attempts early and develop immediate responses, making them a key resource for real-time information. Their experiences help inform government about cyber discovered vulnerabilities. When private companies discover weaknesses in their systems, these vulnerabilities can provide valuable insights. Partnerships build trust, which is essential for a stronger and more secure nation. The results speak for themselves. A good example is the private sector's role in providing logistical support during major events like the Papal Visit and ASEAN Summits. Without private sector engagement, security management, of course, this synergy isn't without its own challenges. First, there's often a reluctance to share information, particularly in the private sector, due to concerns about privacy and competitive advantage. Then there's the challenge of aligning priorities. While the public sector focuses on national security, but these challenges are not insurmountable. Clear communication channels and a legal framework for public-private partnerships can help overcome these barriers. Regular training exercises can also ensure both sectors. In conclusion, security is a shared responsibility. No single entity, whether public or private, can address today's complex security challenges alone. It requires cooperation, trust, and genuine commitment to safeguarding our nation. As we continue to face evolving threats, I urge everyone here today to explore opportunities for collaboration. Whether you're in government or the private sector, remember, our greatest strength lies in working together. Let me share an excerpt from the article of the Asian Institute of Management that says, in this volatile landscape, the role of safeguarding the country's sovereignty and maintaining the territorial integrity are no longer as the government call upon sectors of society to work hand in hand in crafting the Philippines' national security policy. all whole of, and I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts and questions. Let me end my presentation. Be prepared.
Thank you so much, Colonel Edison Bong Lebrilla. I'm requesting our board of directors to help us out for the awarding ceremony. And let me just echo what, of course, our speaker told us. And Security Education presents this plaque of recognition to Colonel Edison L. Lebrilla, a public servant, for his invaluable contribution as a resource speaker and sharing his expertise and insights during the 17th Security Management International Convention with the theme of Contemporary Security Management, Synergy of Hardware, Software, and Human Technical Expertise. Held on October 22, 2024 at the Grand Ballroom of Okada, Manila, Parañaque City. Your dedication and commitment to enhancing knowledge and fostering meaningful discussions were instrumental to the event's success. Given this 22nd day of October in the year of our Lord, 2024. Of course, undersigned by our Chairman Emeritus, Dr. Eduardo M. Fulgencio, PhD, CPP, CFE, CSP, National President, Director Nilson A. Silva, PhD, MSM, CSI, CSP, our National VP and Convention Chairman, Director Sebastian M. Puache, PhD, CPP, MCM, CSI, and CSP. Marami pong salamat. May I just ask everyone if you guys have questions by far from the talks this morning? May mga katanungan po ba tayo? Something you wanna clarify? Pwede niyo pong i-put in a small piece of paper and give it to us later on. And if we still have time, we can actually entertain that. Marami pong salamat. Thank you so much once again, Colonel Edison Bong Lebrilla. Your lunch? Can you say yes? Alright. I don't know if you guys are still with us. You're probably kind of asleep at this point in time, but let me remind you, it's called artificial intelligence. I have a question for all of you. How would you feel if you have a colleague that never goes out for a break? That's what artificial intelligence can do. But today, we are going as speaker. Put your hands together for Dr. Eduardo M. Fulgencio, CSP. Palakpakan naman po natin si Doc Ed.
Thank you very much. The beautiful MC, Miss Michi. Through the years, lalong gumaganda ang ating MC. I'm sure you will agree with that. Okay? So, the person I'm going to introduce to you now is actually not a stranger to us because he was here last year as one of our speakers. And today, we have decided to invite him again. We became close friends with the PSIS group. And I'm amazed with the costume that he's wearing today. I would call him the Prince. Okay, so the Prince experience working within the security and detection industry included working closely with government departments that have subsequently benefited from his high or his in-depth understanding of security market and emerging technologies. He has held high-profile senior positions within the security and aviation industry. He has played a pivotal role in developing new and next-generation equipment that meets and exceeds the ever-growing needs of international security. Prince Jagtar, as I call him today, has been highly influential in new developments of next-generation X-ray equipment, threat image projection TIP, X-ray image quality, auto-threat detection of explosives and narcotics, body scanners, hold baggage scanning equipment, and leading excuse me, the development of next-generation trace equipment along with heading the R&D team. Prince Jagtar is uniquely experienced in all disciplines of engineering business, research and development, testing and trials of new and innovative technologies, and management. Has been involved in mergers and acquisitions, providing technical, practical, and critical feedback to the board of directors to assist with decision making. This has secured his position as one of the industry's most knowledgeable and sought after personnel. In addition, Prince Jagtar is also a prepared speaker at significant security events all over the world. He has traveled throughout the world and very active in the security industry. And now works as a senior consultant with Nuctech Company Limited of the United Kingdom of Great Britain. So ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome with a round of applause our good friend, the good friend of the Philippine security industry, Prince Jagtar Bastra.
It's just that I'm getting old, and when you get to my age, obviously you have done one or two things. Like all old people, I've been around for a long, long time, and what little knowledge I have, I will try to share. Time, the opportunity, and I hope I won't let you down, and I will do my best to share some of my knowledge with you today. Welcome to everybody, and thank you once again. So this is the 17th conference, and I am lucky to be given the opportunity. Main question is, what gives me the right to stand up here and speak when there are so many people who are far more intelligent, far higher qualified than I am? It's just that I've been around the world once or twice, and since I would like to share some of my experience with you, you can see from the photograph of college that I have met prime ministers, presidents, princes, and so on. And at the bottom, there is also Keir Starmer, the new Prime Minister of UK. And I was lucky to meet the senator yesterday, and like this. Now, artificial intelligence is a subject very close to my heart, because what actually happens is it's such a vast subject that I could stand up here and speak for a week and not even touch the surface. So this is the showcase of technologies and techniques. I will try to do whatever I can, and then as we go through at the end, if you got any questions, I will try my best to answer those at the end of the presentation. So there will be enough time for me to answer some questions. AI is mainly just an interface and started to take over. So this is the real AI, and in that film, it did portray the dangers of AI. So we have to be extra careful, and I'll try to touch on some of the threats involved with AI. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of a feel what AI is. And then the second one was in Borg. That was the Star Trek movie in May 8 overview. Self-driving cars, digital health, interspace, industry, personalizing smartphones, bank fraud, etc. What normal people will take months to do with the computers and AI can do those things very, very quickly. Some of the digital analyses in the health industry where human beings could not analyze so much of the data, but AI can do that very, very fast and accurately. And the results are absolutely remarkable, and the accuracy is unbelievable. So definition of AI, which is what I said to you, that majority of the people really need to look at it. Artificial intelligent AI refers to a stimulation of human intelligence and machines that are programmed to think and learn like humans. That's the key here, to think and learn like humans. Majority of the people, by looking at these pictures and say, AI can do this, AI can do that. No, it's the ability to learn that is artificial intelligence, not to carry out the mundane tasks and alarm on certain things. These systems can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as understanding language, recognition of patterns, solving problems, and making decisions. I'll touch on some of the dangers with the decision-making process on that. To narrow it down, design for specific tasks, virtually assist facial recognition, etc. Hypothetical system that could perform any cognitive task that humans can do. Super intelligence, concept where AI suppresses the human intelligence. Now, this is where the danger comes, when AI starts to take over and it suppresses the human intelligence and starts to take over. That's why the first slide that I showed was the Skynet, where it took over from human beings. And then what we'll do is, how does AI work and the best way to describe it? And the key components, very high temperature. Obviously, the region that he had concealed the explosives, I'm sure it wasn't very comfortable. And his screams could be heard at the back end of the plane as well. So he was obviously arrested, and that's his underwear cut open by the FBI. So my advice is, please find a better place to conceal fixing about. So really we need to look at what it is. Reactive is when we react to an incident that happened. And we already talked about all of those with knives, strengthening of the cockpit doors, scanning of the cargo, and scanning of the shoes, etc., using trace. And as a result of the underwear bomber, body scanners were introduced and more. So that's what I'm saying. Each incident, we produce a response, and surveillance cameras, intruder detection, security, and personnel. We'll talk about some of those instances of responses planned. At Heathrow Airport, I was a security system executive for Heathrow, and there are 7 airports. I was a managing director for Smith Simon, and I was a vice president 11 years for RepScan. So that taught me that these guys are doing their job with one hand tied behind their back. To overcome that, we said, okay, what happens if we rotate the back? Well, same image, you can't see much because that's a computer. And then if we take a second image from the side of it, now you can see the knife sitting on top of the laptop, which in the first 2 images with a single view X-ray you wouldn't have seen. So that's why the dual view X-rays were introduced, to give the operator a better opportunity and a better chance to see what was there. And if we then look at all three images, scanned differently, and the third image from the side, I was doing it to train people. So you can see what the bombs look like and what the images would have looked like. That's what the Richard Reed shoe bomber, and if it's a heavier boots, the problem becomes even more complex for the operators to see exactly what is going on. And equipment, next generation equipment, CT, body scanners, and various types of nuclear detectors and are being introduced at the moment. This is a typical NukeTech slide where it shows you the number of systems in various countries, how they are, and the size of the market for each of the companies. And this is the port in Finland where radiation detectors were installed as well, because that is also now becoming a major threat. Chemical warfare and also the radiation. So if somebody wants to discuss CBRN, please let me know. I'll be happy to discuss some of the chemical warfare side and including radiation detection and some issues concerned with the radiation as well. So I have a little bit of knowledge on that too. So you can see the advancement in the security equipment, biometrics, AI-driven surveillance, Internet of Things, and device improvement and monitoring, and drones. Drones are the next big thing as well. Now, the danger with the drones is swarm of drones can attack you, and yet your surface-to-air missiles, etc., to eliminate will be wasted. You're using a very, very, very expensive missiles to take out a very, very, very cheap drone.
So it's basically a fear of many human workers is AI will replace human workers.
Well, in short, I can guarantee you no AI machine is going to replace me. I am not replaceable. So you talk about yourselves, how confident are you? How good are you? If you think the machine can replace you, machine probably will replace you. But I'm telling you, no machine's ever replacing me. And the question was valid. What's happening at the moment is, like we said, where if you had a whole wall full of screens and you had 10 operators watching those screens, then yes, machines will replace them because they will be on automatic threat detection and alert, whereby one person could command, or next generation, like we said, self-driving cars will eliminate some drivers. Those are jobs. Yet, we haven't all lost our jobs. We find different jobs, new jobs, different jobs. So I don't think we need to worry about that immediately. It'll happen slowly over time and new jobs will be created. I don't think we need to worry about that at this stage, but evolution is continuing and it will continue.
I envy the beautiful wardrobe that you have right now. Where can we avail of that wardrobe, Doctor?
I am really, really honored to be congratulated on my dress sense. But I really don't want general admiring me. I just want the pretty girls to admire me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jakhtar. Is it also safe to say that the AI will help you education presents this plaque of recognition to Dr. Jakhtar Basra, Chief Executive Officer of JB Fox Consultancy Ltd, for your invaluable contribution as a resource speaker, sharing your expertise and insights during the 17th Security Management International Convention with the theme of Contemporary Security Management, Synergy of Hardware, Software, and Human Technical Expertise, held on October 22, 2024 at the Grand Ballroom of Academ Manila, Parañaque City. Your dedication and commitment to enhancing knowledge and fostering meaningful discussions were instrumental to the event's success, given this 22nd day of October in the year of our Lord, 2004. Undersigned by our Chairman Emeritus Dr. Eduardo M. Fulgencio, PhD, CPP, CFP, CSP, National President Director Nilson Silva, and National VP and Convention Chairman Director Sebastian M. Puache. Thank you so much, Dr. Jantar Basra. It's a very interesting topic to know more about AI, one of the best discovery of human today, and how we can actually integrate the power of AI in managing security inside our organization. Thank you so much once again, Dr. Jantar Basra. Once again, masigabong palakpakan, ladies and gentlemen.